Namo Narayanaya, Revered Pravrajika Ishtaprana Mataji, dear sisters and brothers. It gives me great joy to extend a warm and cordial welcome to each and every one of you to this special Youth Day program. Swamiji says, never be weak, you must be strong. You have infinite strength in you. You are the creator of your own destiny. These words ring true for every youth. In South Africa, Youth Day is commemorated on this, the 16th of June, in honor of the youth who stood together against oppression and fought for their right to education and equality. The actions of the youth who demonstrated against injustice and inequality in 1976 contributed largely to the freedoms we enjoy today. Swamiji says, youth is humanity in the making. If something is in the works, the more attention you pay to it, the better the product will be. Our first youth speaker for this Youth Day program is Ms. Thusmika Pillay, who will discuss if Swami Vivekananda were here today.
Revered Pravrajika, Ishtaprana Mataji, and dear sisters and brothers, Om Namo Narayanaya. What would Swami Vivekananda say if he were among us and could observe the brave new world we have created since he passed away in 1902? This is a presumptuous and speculative question. It presumes that we know Swamiji so well that we can predict what he would think about any given subject. However, if we think about his life and teachings, it is possible to hazard a few guesses. Those who have read about Swamiji's life will know that when he arrived in America in 1893, he was greatly impressed by its high level of technology, its efficiency, and its dynamism. Later, he became more aware of the ills that lurked beneath the surface. He criticized the shallow materialism that pervaded modern life. Since 1893, technology is now even more advanced, but so too is materialism. In Swamiji's day, most long-distance travel was by train and steamship. Now we have self-driving cars, bullet trains, jetliners, and rockets. We have been to the moon, we have sent probes to Mars, we have countless technological marvels that Swamiji could not have dreamed of. We have artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, lifelike robots, and really an app for every purpose. I think in general, Swamiji would applaud these technological advances. They make our lives easier and more comfortable, and thus should give us more time to devote to religious practices and service to humanity. But in truth, they all have drawbacks. With the internet comes not only viruses, but addiction, cyberbullying, and thousands of online scams. It is well known that the greatest obstacle to spiritual growth is the ego. Social media often represents the greatest victory of the ego since the invention of the mirror. I think that Swami Vivekananda would applaud our advances in technology, but would laugh at some of the uses we put them to. And it is certain that he would wonder what we are doing with all the free time these modern marvels have given us. Do we indeed devote more time to our religious practices and serving humanity? Perhaps not so. Instead, we waste it watching Netflix, scrolling through social media, endlessly messaging friends, and so on and so forth. When it comes to religion, I'm afraid that Swamiji would be dismayed by the current situation. The onrushing avalanche of materialism is flattening everything in its path. Given this context, what are religious aspirants to do? The answer is, religious aspirants should do what we have always done. Be strong, stay true, and stand steadfast. Move out of the path of the avalanche and let it sweep past. Sri Ramakrishna remarked that the world is often like the curl-tailed dog. You cannot always change it. Try to straighten the tail, and as soon as you let it go, it will snap back into its original shape. If we are true aspirants, we should stay true to our faith, no matter what follies may engulf the world. That means remaining true to the essentials of religious practice, including prayer, japa, meditation, scriptural study, singing bhajans, keeping holy company, and trying to serve the Shiva in every jiva as best as we can. Swami Vivekananda believed that each soul is potentially divine, and that the goal of life is to manifest that divinity. This is the whole of religion. What he challenged us to do was to give ourselves a noble reason to live, a lofty ideal to live for, and a higher state to reach within the boundaries of human existence. He advocated for as little materialism as possible with the maximum of spirituality. Let me narrate the story entitled A Madman in the City. Once, a man named Yash finally left his village when there was no one left living there. He had never left his beloved village before, but intrigued by the fact that everyone had gone to the city, he decided to go and see for himself what wonderful things those cities had. So he packed a knapsack with a few clothes, put on his best smile, and off he went to the city. On reaching the city, he was given a most unexpected welcome. A couple of policemen stopped Yash and questioned him in great detail. It turned out that Yash had seemed suspiciously happy for someone with hardly any possessions. In the end, the police had to let him go, but they were still suspicious about this apparently simple and good-natured fellow. The first thing Yash noticed about the city was all the rushing around. Everyone was in such a hurry. He thought there must be something special happening that no one wants to miss. Curious, Yash started following a man who looked like he was hurrying to this special event. However, after several hours following him, the man arrived at a small flat and went inside. The man had seen and done nothing of interest the whole day. That night, Yash slept in a park. The park was strewn with bits of paper and plastic. As the bins were completely empty, Yash thought how innovative it was that the city had invented plants with petals made of paper and plastic. He only believed this until the following morning when he came by a man who dropped his chocolate wrapper. Yash carried on walking through the city streets, trying to understand what was going on. He arrived at a big building filled with people. This must be the best museum in the world, he thought, on entering and seeing all the useless-looking things on display. But then he saw that people were picking these things up, paying for them, and taking them away. Why would anyone want a watch which doesn't show the minutes, he wondered to himself, after seeing a woman very contentedly leaving with the most modern of watches on her wrist. He thought pretty much the same when seeing a pair of shoes with impossibly high heels, and then some electronic device, which did 1,000 things, and none of them well. Yash started regretting leaving his village, just to come to this place where no one seemed happy. Then he saw a few kids playing. Now they certainly did seem happy. Playing, running about, chasing each other, except for one child who seemed troubled by a little machine they were calling a console. He was hitting it hard with his fingers and making all kinds of angry faces and gestures. Yash thought that the boy was trying to destroy the little machine because it was making him so unhappy. He decided to help the boy. Yash went over, took the console, threw it on the ground, and stamped on it and looked at the boy with great satisfaction. At this, the boy flew into a rage, as did all the other children, and nearly all the adults. They pursued Yash so relentlessly that he had to run away. He didn't stop running until he reached the road leading back to his village. As he was making his way home, he couldn't help wondering whether the whole world had gone mad. The moral of the story is that we often get so carried away by the materialism of modern life that we lose sight of the most important things: simplicity and austerity, both of which bring us closer to God. The Master says, if you must be mad, be it not for the things of the world, be mad with the love of God. The goal of life is not the earning of money, but the service of God. Do all your duties, but keep your mind fixed on God. There still remains the question of what Swami Vivekananda would think of the world as a whole in the present day. Swamiji declared religion to be the very backbone of humanity, and his greatest fear was that society would forsake religion for the world. Swamiji would encourage us as youth to find a balance between engaging with technology and investing time in prayer, meditation, self-reflection, and inner growth. Instead of prioritizing materialism, Swamiji would encourage the youth to fulfill our worldly potential, serve others, embrace diversity, and work towards the betterment of society. If Swami Vivekananda were to address us today, he might say something like this: children of the world, you are heirs to a great religious tradition. In your veins flow the blood of Vedic rishis and sages of the Upanishads. You are heirs to Buddha and great acharyas like Shankara. Yours too is the legacy of later saints like Sri Ramakrishna and legions of others whose names are unknown. Be worthy of them. Do not exchange the diamonds they have given you for cheap beads of glass. Do not do, say, or even think anything that would make them ashamed of you. Having inherited such a noble tradition, be noble yourselves. Always act in such a way that Mother India will smile with pride and proclaim to all the world, these are my children. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Om Namo Narayanaya. Thank you, Ms. Pillay, for that insightful discourse. Brothers and sisters, our next speaker is Mr. Jatin Hari, who will speak on study methods for success.
Om Namah Shriyati Rajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. Revered Pravrajika Ishtaprana Mataji, dear children, youth, and loving devotees, Om Namo Narayanaya. As many students and learners are busy with exams, today we shall talk about study methods for success. Each and every one of us is continuously learning and growing throughout our lives. However, it is in our youth when education and studies are most critical. The habits, skills, and knowledge gained in our youth form the foundations of our lives and provide us with direction towards our future goals and aspirations. In the earlier stages of youth, most of us are able to enjoy ourselves and have fun without having to worry about responsibilities. But as we become older, we become more independent and have goals and dreams of our own. At this point, it is critical that we realize the importance of studies in achieving these goals. By looking at some practical study tips, as well as some important qualities from the teachings of Swami Vivekananda, we can become better at studying. This will ultimately help us to reach success quicker and easier. The focus of these lessons is on studying, but it can be applied throughout our lives, whether it be at work or in our personal pursuits. Let us start by identifying some of the qualities that will help us through the challenges of studying. Firstly, we need to have faith in ourselves. Swamiji advises us to stand up, be bold, be strong, take the whole responsibility on your own shoulders, and know that you are the creator of your own destiny. We must maintain a positive attitude. Swamiji says, the remedy for weakness is not brooding over weakness, but thinking of strength. We must remember that the road to success will always be tough. There are no shortcuts to success. There will be times when we fail, but we must pick ourselves up, learn from our mistakes, and try again. Praying to God and having faith in yourself will not make the obstacles go away, but it will give us the strength to face them. Swamiji says, devote your whole mind, heart, and soul, and never mind any failures. They are the beauty of life. Hold on to the ideal 1,000 times, and if you fail 1,000 times, make the attempt once more. Another important skill that we should develop is the power of concentration. When Swamiji was living in Chicago, he used to go to the library, borrow a large number of books, take them home, and return them the next day. The librarian was curious, so she asked him, why do you take so many books when you can't possibly read them all in one day? Swamiji replied that he read each and every word of the books he borrowed with full concentration. The librarian was not convinced, so Swamiji asked her to test him. She opened a book, randomly selected a page and paragraph, and asked him to tell her what was written there. Swamiji repeated the sentence word for word without looking at the book. The librarian was shocked at Swamiji's wonderful powers of concentration and retention. Through this story, we see the power of concentration that is hidden within each of us. We can develop this power through constant practice. Practice meditation and japa as often as possible, and practice controlling the mind. Whatever task you do, keep your mind fully concentrated on it, whether it be eating, playing sport, or studying. Meditation is a very powerful tool which must be practiced regularly to help us progress spiritually, control the mind, and reduce stress levels. Swamiji used to go into deep meditation even as a young boy when playing meditation games with his friends. To make concentration easier, remove all distractions. Make sure your workspace is well organized and remove any unnecessary distractions, such as phones or tablets. In order to study effectively, we also need to make sure that the body is looked after. Our brains need proper nutrition to perform at its best. We cannot study when we are hungry, but overeating is just as bad. Try to ensure a healthy diet and avoid excessive sugar or other junk foods which make the mind restless. Exercise is also important as it releases endorphins, which make us feel good and decreases anxiety. Studies have shown that higher physical activity and fitness levels are associated with improved concentration and memory among students. In order to progress towards success, we should set long-term and short-term goals so that we have something to work towards. Everyone will have different goals based on their own progress and aspirations. Don't compare your goals with those of other people, but rather focus on yourself. It is important to consider your core values and ideals when setting goals, as this will ensure that you remain motivated. Swamiji advises us of the importance of working consistently. He says that the secret of work is to pay as much attention to the means as to the end. So, to explain this concept, let's say our goal is to pass an exam at the end of the term. Instead of only focusing entirely on doing well in the exam, rather focus on the small everyday tasks that build up to the exam. Pay attention in every class. Do your homework properly and revise every day. Thus, by the end of the term, you will be ready for the exam. You will not have to do late-night cramming the night before, as this often adds more stress and pressure to the situation. You might say that there is no time for this. Planning and time management is of utmost importance. There are only 24 hours in a day, right? If you're sleeping for say 8 hours, you've still got 16 hours to work with. Try to review that 16 hours to make sure you're spending it effectively. How many of those hours are getting wasted on TV, social media, or other unnecessary tasks? If we can make a positive change within these 16 hours, within our daily routines, we will form positive habits. The results of this daily, consistent repetition and practice will be life-changing. So review your daily routine and focus on your priorities. Focus on those things which will bring you closer to success. It is also important that we allow sufficient time for sleep. Set aside time daily for prayer and meditation. Allow for breaks in between your studies. Keep a study schedule which will assist with planning and be disciplined in following it. Another way to improve our time management is to find the most efficient way to do our tasks. When it comes to studying, there are many different learning styles. These methods could include rewriting your notes, drawing diagrams or mind maps, practicing worked examples, using more color in your work, saying your work out loud, playing music in the background, and using acronyms or rhymes. Try out different methods and use whichever works best for you. Swamiji was a devoted disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, but he didn't blindly believe his guru's teachings. He always debated and questioned Sri Ramakrishna to truly understand the meaning behind his philosophies. We should try as much as possible to understand the subject that we are studying, as this makes it easier to remember. Always ask questions in order to improve your understanding. Remember that you are not facing these challenges alone. There are other learners also struggling to understand these same concepts. Remember that you will always get help, whether it be from friends, family, teachers, or the ashram. On the true ideal for education, Swamiji says, we want that education by which character is formed, strength of mind is increased, the intellect is expanded, and by which one can stand on one's own feet. The current schooling system does not necessarily provide us with all of these, but it is up to us to make the effort. Luckily, at the ashram, we learn about spirituality and character building. We have access to books on the teachings of the Holy Trinity. We can go to Mataji if we need advice. We must remember that even though academic studies are important, it is not the be-all and end-all of life. Even though it is good to be ambitious, we should not overburden ourselves with the expectations of others. There will always be other opportunities for success. There is also no point in passing with all distinctions if we lie, cheat, and treat others badly. So remember that spiritual education should not be neglected, as it is even more important in helping us to get through the challenges of life. May Master, Mother, and Swamiji guide us through all our studies. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Murta maheshwaram ujjvala bhaskaram Ishtaprana Murta maheshwaram ujjvala bhaskaram Ishtaprana Vande vedatanu purjita garhita kamini kanchana bandha Vande vedatanu purjita garhita kamini kanchana bandha Murta maheshwaram ujjvala bhaskaram Ishtaprana Murta maheshwaram Koti bhanukara Dipta simhamamo katikata kopinavanta Koti bhanukara Dipta simhamamo katikata kopinavanta Abhiravi Omkaranavita Dimmukha Prachanda Tandava Nritya Abhiravi Omkaranavita Dimmukha Prachanda Tandava Nritya Murta maheshwaram ujjvala bhaskaram Ishtaprana Murta maheshwaram Bhukti mukti kripa kataksha prekshanam agatala vidalana daksha Bhukti mukti kripa kataksha prekshanam agatala vidalana daksha Bhalachandradhara indruvandamiha Naumi Guru Vivekananda Bhalachandradhara indruvandamiha Naumi Guru Vivekananda
Om Namo Narayanaya. Dear sisters and brothers, we at the Sarada Devi Ashram are indeed blessed to be surrounded by the holy teachings of Master, Holy Mother, and Swami Vivekananda, and also to have the spiritual guidance of Revered Mataji to bring these teachings to life and make them accessible to all. Brothers and sisters, Revered Mataji will now lead us into prayer and conclude today's most uplifting program. Her Holiness, Pravrajika Ishtaprana Mataji.
Om Aim Sarvadeva Devi Swarupaya Shri Ram Krishnaya Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya to our loving youth and dear sisters and brothers. Today is a very special day for our youth to remind them of the infinite power that is latent in them. Swami Vivekananda is regarded as a special mentor for youth. His powerful and practical teachings help us to awaken the latent power that is in each and every one of us. Youth is the best time of life to grow and blossom into dynamic beings that are full of energy, aspirations, and ambitions. If youth are nurtured and encouraged well, they become assets to themselves, to society, and to the world. Swami Vivekananda's teachings are like a brilliant torch, providing eternal light to guide our youth forward. By practicing some of these powerful teachings, youth flourish in every walk of life. Here are some of Swamiji's invaluable teachings to inspire youth to progress in today's challenging world. Swamiji, a spiritual leader and philosopher, says that the Bhagavad Gita teaches us not to flee from the battle of life, but to fight it. Today's world has countless possibilities and infinite challenges. Youth must discover their potential and work towards success and fulfillment. Swamiji emphasized the importance of self-confidence to be successful. Every individual possesses immense potential. Youth must have faith in their capabilities and pursue their goals with zeal and determination. To achieve success, Swamiji advises youth to cultivate a balanced mindset and emotions. Swamiji says, avoid extremes. By developing emotional intelligence, youth can face challenges, build friendly relationships, and maintain a positive outlook. Swamiji urges youth to cultivate discipline to be productive. Success is the result of consistent and persistent effort. By being self-disciplined, youth can develop resilience and challenge their energies towards achieving their goals. Perseverance leads to success. Swamiji reiterates that knowledge transforms a person, therefore, continuous learning is important. True education goes beyond textbooks and classrooms. Knowledge broadens our horizons and our views and contributes meaningfully to society. Swamiji saw the divine in all beings and advocated selfless service as worship to the living God. Through selfless service, youth can make a positive impact on society and feel fulfilled. Swamiji's timeless wisdom guides youth on life's journey to peace and fulfillment. Self-confidence, self-discipline, attaining knowledge, and serving humanity, all of these help to awaken the infinite power within us to ensure a bright future. The essence of Swamiji's message lies in awakening the power that is within. His motto is, onward, through countless struggles, character is established. Let us not be disheartened. Remember, all power is within you. You can do anything and everything. May God bless all of us. May today's program stimulate youth to do their best to progress and achieve their goals. Let us sit quietly and try to concentrate on the divine power within. As we breathe in strength, peace, and contentment. As we breathe out, exhale all negativity. Breathe out stress, fear, and anxiety. Feel that you are filled with divine energy and peace. Let us pray for the peace of the whole world. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Om Sarvesham Swastirabhavatu Sarvesham Shantirabhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukhabhag Bhavet. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.
जय श्री गुरु महाराज की
जय।
महामाई की
जय।
स्वामी जी महाराज की
जय।
गंगा मात की
जय।
महावीर स्वामी जी की
जय।
सर्व ऋषि मुनियों की
जय। पार्वती पतये हर हर महा